Where the Wild Things Are is a classic children's book that has been told for years on end and will be told for many more years. It was published in April of 1963, and it was written by an American writer and illustrator, Morris Sendak. It was originally published by the Harper and Row Company. The genres of the picture book is fiction, fantasy, children's literature, and other forms of fiction. I chose this piece because my mother used to read this book to me nearly every night before I went to bed when I was around 3 years old. If I didn't get to hear this book, I would beg for her to read it to me until she finally gave in. Actually, this book goes back a long time in my family because when my mom was little, her mom used to read this book to her as well. So my mom started reading it to me, and then she read it to my siblings after me. Max, a young and immature boy, donned of a wolf costume and misbehaved to the point where his mother became very irritated. She became fed up and sent him to his room without dinner, referring to him as a wild thing. That night, Max imagined his room turning into a forest, and the ceilings and walls grew vines and trees. Max then imagined a stranded boat, which then he sailed off into distant lands in his imagination. Max sailed for large amounts of time to find where the wild things are, and once he arrived, the monsters startled him with their sharp claws and loud roars. Max got the courage and tamed the beasts with his magical wand and shouted, "Be still." Max looked at the wild things straight in the eye, and he did not blink once. The wild things were terrified of Max's appearance and nominated him as the wildest thing of all. Max encouraged the wild things for their misbehavior, only to become more irritated of himself, sending them to bed without dinner, like his mother did. Max became depressed and wanted to be where love surrounded him, which is his home. Max then started smelling the aroma of delicious foods, and the sweet smells started to cause him to consider abdicating the throne as the Wild King's king. The wild things begged and pleaded for him to stay, only for him to politely decline. Once Max rejected the idea of staying, the wild things threatened, with their loud roars and sharp claws. "We'll eat you up, we love you so much," said the monsters. Max still refused, and left on his boat waving goodbye. Max then sailed for an extended imaginary journey into his very own bedroom, with his dinner sitting in his nightstand, and the food was still hot.